Good evening, everybody. My name is Megan Dudziak, and I'm here tonight from the Child Advocacy Center at Best Self Behavioral Health. And what we're doing is we're talking to you about how to help kids learn how to be safe. So the first thing I like you to do is I want you to think about what is something that you wish you would have learned as a child but didn't. And the reason I ask this is many times as adults, we're like, wow, I wish my parents would have talked to me about this, or whoever the adult was in your life that took care of you and that you didn't have to find things out the hard way. We're hoping that by providing this education, opportunity to not just you, but to the kids directly in their classes, that they don't have those regrets later in life. And the reason we talk about this very difficult topic is we know that 1 in 10 kids are sexually abused before their 18th birthday. And yet only 10% disclose their abuse while they're still a child, because 90% of the time, the person that has hurt them is someone they know, love, and trust. So that's why it's so important for us to empower kids to know what to do if something like this were to happen to them or to a friend. So at the Child Advocacy Center, we work with kids who have either witnessed violence or are direct victims of violence. And it is our belief that every child deserves to grow up feeling safe and loved. And I think that's most adults' feeling in the world, that we want to make sure that kids do feel safe and loved. But what do we do when kids don't feel safe? First, we want to know what makes our kids feel safe. Again, think about yourself. When you were a child or even now, what are some simple things that can make you feel safe? And it might be some of the same things that your kids find as well. This is a great talking point with them, talking to them about what are things that you feel safe. And then they might think it's so neat that they have the same types of things that make them feel safe. And then checking in with them on a regular basis, asking them if they feel safe in your home. Do they feel safe at school? And do they feel safe in the community where you live? And if they don't feel safe, do they know who to go to find safety? We're going to be having some discussions directly with the students in the school building. They're going to be developmentally appropriate lessons, and we're going to talk to kids about what the body safety rules are. Here's an overview of the discussions that we're going to be having with the students. It's not going to be a heavy conversation. It's just going to reassure them and prepare them that they have the right information about how to protect themselves, what tools they already have in their body toolbox, and what to do if they feel nervous. So the first thing we talk to students about is their body safety rules. So we want to empower kids because many times they'll say, I feel like I'm bossed around all the time. I'm bossed around at home. I'm bossed around at school. I'm bossed around everywhere. And we reinforce to kids that there are rules because we want them to be safe. But we also want to empower them to know that they're the bosses of their bodies, and they'll always be the bosses of their bodies. And they can say no if they don't want to kiss or hug someone. They can ask to give them a high five, shake their hand, or blow them a kiss, but they're the bosses of their bodies. So if they don't want to give that hug or kiss, then we need to respect that. And we need to listen to that and let other adults in their lives know that that's okay with us because we want them to be empowered. We also want them to know that they do have a safety network, but helping them to identify who are the people in their lives that keep them safe and who will help them when they don't feel safe. Do they know who those people are? Well, we're going to talk to them in their classroom so that they can help figure that out. We want them to figure out a few people in the various settings that they're in throughout their day. Some people at school, some people outside of school, and some people in the community. We want to make sure that they still learn the lessons of stranger danger, but they're aware that if there are adults in their lives who make them feel uncomfortable, that they know who to check in with and get help from other adults. We want kids to speak up. We tell them the most powerful tool in their toolbox is their voices. And then it's an adult's job to keep them safe, But if the adults around them don't know that they're not feeling safe, then we can't help them. So we want them to speak up and talk to us, even when they're having early warning signs where their bodies are giving them signals that something might not be right. Maybe they have sweaty palms, or they're just sweating in general. Maybe they have a sick tummy. Maybe they become shaky. Maybe their heart feels like it's beating really fast. Share with the children in your life that sometimes adults feel like that too. And we check in with other adults to figure out why we're feeling that way and how we can feel better again. And again, the more that we share these experiences and check in with our kids, the more they're going to come to you with this information that makes them feel uneasy. And then we want to talk to them about secrets. We want to talk about safe secrets when no one gets hurt, that no one feels unsafe or uneasy, that the secret will be revealed soon because it's more of a surprise than it really is a secret. And unsafe secret is when someone could get hurt, when someone feels unsafe or uneasy, or someone's body is being harmed. The secret might be asked to last forever, and they might have someone that is somebody that they should be able to trust, an adult or another child, that's asking them to keep the secret. So we want them to be secret safety rangers, and we want them to know that there's someone that they can talk to about secrets that make them feel unsafe or easy. Then we want to make sure that they're aware of private parts and the importance of their bathing suit areas or their private parts. And we want to make sure that they always use and have the right names to use for their body parts. We want them to know that no one can touch them or ask to touch their private body parts, and that no one should show pictures of private parts. And if anything like this does happen, then they need to let you know right away. But we're not going to be using those terms with the students. We're not going to use penis. We're not going to use breast. We're not going to use vagina and buttocks with kids that are in the elementary buildings. But we want you to use those words. This way, if something were to happen and they come to you and they say something has happened to their penis or their vagina, it leads no reason to wonder what they're talking about. And when we talk about all the body parts the same, then it takes the mystery out of it, and it takes the shame and the blame that sometimes we associate with those private body parts. So that's why we want to make sure that we're having these conversations. We want to make sure that they're hearing the information from us and that they're comfortable. We want to make sure that kids and you have open lines of communication, that you're talking early. And what I mean by early is as young as possible, that you're checking in with them openly and often, and that you're talking on a regular basis. Many times kids will tell us that sometimes they feel like the adults in their lives aren't listening to them because they're behind a computer screen or they're looking at their phones. So let's promise that we're going to take time where we put those electronic devices away and we have that protected time with our kids, that they can ask us questions, they can talk to us openly, and we can talk to them. And if you don't know the answer, let them know. I don't know the answer, but I'm so glad you came to me because I'm going to find out and we're going to talk about it together. So here's an easy video that shows how easy it is to have the conversation with our kids. And it takes the fear away because we can see how easy the conversation is.
Have you talked with your kids about sexual abuse?
Okay.
So,
It's about.
okay, it can feel awkward. Let's make it easier. Frame it around safety rules like always ask me first.
You still have to ask me first before you get in his car.
But it's Coach.
Doesn't matter. You have to ask me first, okay?
Got it.
Emphasize that it is important, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Okay, this is a little weird, but if anyone ever tries to touch your private parts,
Mom, do we really have to talk about this?
we really do. And you have to tell me if it ever happens, okay?
Weird, but I will.
Use everyday moments when you and your kids are relaxed. Review the rules often.
Sweetheart, nobody can touch your private parts, okay? Remember? No secrets if anyone tries, okay?
Okay, Daddy.
All right.
Finally, keep talking and ask questions.
Have a good time?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Talking with your kids about sexual abuse helps keep them safe. The more you talk, the easier it gets. Learn more at hotchocolatetalk.org.
And you can find this talk and other talks right on YouTube. So it's easy to access this information. There are other resources as well. The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from the lessons that we're going to talk to the students about is having these conversations and check-ins often with your kids. These lessons are meant to prepare them and not to scare them or not to scare you. But the more that we're in sync with our kids and we're talking with them openly, the safer that all of us will be. If you have questions, please reach out to your school social workers or to myself, and we will do our best to answer those questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this video. And again, talk often, talk early, and talk openly. Be safe, everybody.